I am here with Eric Auberg. He is a business leader and sales exec leader at Hub International. I wanted to talk with him today. We've been having some great conversations since we met on LinkedIn. Wanted to have him on my show today. Welcome, Eric. Glad to have you, brother.
Oh, this is awesome. Thank you so much for having me, James. I just want to share some thoughts just on authentic leadership.
Yeah, please.
I believe in today's society and, called post-COVID, but still dealing with that, we've somehow lost some of our connection with one another as humans. I believe that it's very important that we connect on a level that is on a human connection and very authentic.
Agreed.
And that we can have the most effective relationships by being authentic and by having those respectful and professional conversations. But I've just found, for me personally, nothing makes me happier personally than encouraging people and finding their best qualities, their best traits, what what makes them tick, what gets them out of bed in the morning. Why do they just face the new day, and how they can most effectively be motivated. Um, I just I just have found, maybe because I'm 58 and I am beyond, I'm not, where my kids are. I have twin daughters that are 23 years old, and they are very, tech savvy and text and Instagram and how we have so much technology, but going out and actually sitting face to face and having conversations with people about what's important, what's going on in their life, and how to uh, find what motivates them, is their what brings them joy.
Yeah.
And in the workplace, when you understand that about your colleagues or people that you supervise, and can have that type of authenticity and understand that, you're going to get the best results in your relationships, in how you can have the best results for the organization, but just all the way around, by understanding really who that person is and what motivates them. And I just found that I would much rather, if I possibly can, have a face-to-face meeting than I would to do a Zoom. But in the case like we have here, I am so thankful for technology so that we actually can stay connected. I'm not sure how many times I've asked myself this question, saying, I can't imagine how we would have gotten through COVID in all our communications in the business world, without technology.
Can you imagine? I don't know how we would have done it. People would have just, isolated for 2 years, let alone, air quotes, isolating. I think it would have been horrible. Horrible.
And so at the same time, I'm having, like in our case, we've never met, but I've been able to connect virtually and still feel like I can get into understanding a person via technology. The point I'm getting at is that it's so important, I believe, that we connect with people and understand and have conversations, what they're facing, what they're going through.
Versus just about the weather or something, right?
Oh, just talking about to really what's going on, and to understand, the issues they're facing, and challenges, and listen.
Actually listen.
Just sit back and let them talk, and care. Every human being wants respect and to be heard.
Yep, agreed.
And I think that in our relationships with its friends or clients, it's looking them in the eye and listening and really trying to decipher, and then when appropriate, ask questions to try to narrow in. And you can actually do it. I had an example. I had a personal, I am going through a divorce, and it's very amicable. But I had one of my first bosses ever. Her name is Sharon, and she's phenomenal. And she called me, and I kept working because I can multitask. And so I just listened to her talk about life, and it was very therapeutic for her. I know that it was.
Agreed.
And
Agreed.
just about her grandkids and what's going on and all of her projects. And that's life. It's our connections. It's not about a stuff we have. It's not about what we're accumulating it's about who have we touched, who have we connected with, whose lives are we changing.
I think I totally agree with you. I think that's why there's been so much, people jumping ship. The Great Resignation. First, it was employees. Now it's leaders. It's. I think I saw a statistic. I think it's like around the 70 or 80% of leaders, business leaders, now looking and ready to jump ship too. The numbers are astounding, and just people not happy or looking to leave. And I think we've forgotten that people are people first versus a number or a I don't know, a performance or a metric or closing this amount of sales or hitting this amount of numbers. I think we've really forgotten that whether someone's an entrepreneur, whether someone's a business leader, corporate leader, government leader, and to your point, having that human connection, just listening. I think there's nothing people want more than to be seen and heard, loved, of course, but that's in the realm of seen, heard, respected, and just having empathy for people. And to your point, just having the time and listening, because that's what, in my opinion, I love your thoughts, that's what is going to get someone to be a high performance individual, going to inspire them, going to engage them, connect them, have them do their best. I love your thoughts too, about how to truly inspire with someone, how to truly motivate someone. I think it certainly starts with listening. And I would go as far to say most people aren't so great at listening. I used to be horrible at listening, horrible listener. Or if I was listening, air quote listening, I wasn't present with it. My mind would off in three other things. I wasn't actually listening or wasn't actually hearing them. So of course that comes with consequences, of course, as well, especially when you're selling or leading. If people know you're not present, they can feel you're not present. And so the rapport, the trust, that connection, the energetics, this goes down the drain. What have you found, Eric, that some of the biggest things really how to inspire, whether it's teams, if you're an entrepreneur, whether it's teams, if you're a not-for-profit, a corporation, a for-profit, anyone, what do you find really inspires and motivates people just to do their best, lights them up, and on building on just being real and authentic versus being a boss and telling people what to do, or micromanaging, having, heaven forbid, and then losing all trust with your team, and having them feel like crap because it's like you're micromanaging me. Clearly, you think I can't do my job right. You don't trust me. What do you feel? What is the new way and the best way to inspire, lead, motivate people?
Leadership, as we talked about, I'm a faith-based guy, and I look at biblical example. Really, the servant is a leader. You serve your people. You see the best in your people. You motivate. So, like, if you have a project, what are that person's strengths? Use their strengths. Okay. I use analytics in my job. That is not my strength necessarily. It is strategy. It's the sales side. It's looking at how to put things together. So each person has the strengths. What are their strengths? What floats their boat? And you put them in those positions and you encourage them and you give them incentives and motivation, and because you believe in them. James, if someone believes in you, you can do anything. If they believe in you, if you have someone that really believes in who you are and what you can do, the sky is the limit. And that is what a true leader does, is looks at the people and say, okay, you're a rock star and we can do this. And making people in the right seats, to get the project done, and believing in them and motivating them and listening. You mentioned earlier, like in the sales process, the best salespeople are really good listeners. They
Yes.
really listen to their client or their prospect and what their needs are and can be met, and no BS, pie in the sky. Not, they want to hear the truth. They want to hear how can you effectively improve bottom line, my organization, my objectives, and to actually really care, not just close this up, but to really care about that person's needs, objectives. I've just found being in sales for a long time that building trust, but it is truly being authentic and not um,
True.
unauthentic.
Mm. Fair, fair. Yeah, and you're right. That authentic versus all the BS, the masks, the song and dance, name dropping. I'm so
Mhm.
great. Whatever. I'm the boss. I'm so great. Whatever it is. To your point, that's a very good
Yeah,
point. And,
yeah.
and it's interesting. You said believing in people, and maybe even if they don't believe in themselves first, I often tell people, hey, it's my job to believe in you before you even believe in you. There's a psychology term called transference and countertransference, and what it is, it's essentially, good coaches know this, good mentors, good leaders, good psychologists know this. If you don't believe someone could do something, that will transfer to them, and they'll feel that, and they'll of course doubt themselves. So if it's like, check yourself, check your mind, check your belief in your people, and maybe you shouldn't be leading those people, or they should move. If you don't believe they can do something, that will directly limit them, and almost cause them not, unless they're highly driven, highly motivated, and they don't let anything get in their way.
Hmm.
It's fascinating. Transference and countertransference. People can often not articulate, or articulate, not do something you don't believe they can do, and I think that's also a big problem in organizations as well. Just
I
people,
would agree.
not believing in others. Yeah, yeah. Or thinking people are stupid just because they don't see things a certain way. They don't do things the same as that leader or that company, or they have a different learning style. I mean, there's many different learning styles, and if someone has a different learning style than you, then maybe they're not going to hear what you're saying in the way you're saying it. They're not going to see what you're getting at. They're not going to make sense of what you're saying or communicating, because, well, their learning style is different. And it's like speaking Spanish to someone who only speaks English. Yet some people think, oh, they're dumb, or why aren't they getting this, or what's wrong with them? And I mean, that causes a whole myriad of problems. Those
Hmm.
expectations versus just understanding, and like you said, the empathy, the understanding, the listening, really actually listening and being present versus listing. And, well, okay, did I leave the pot of coffee on home, and I got to get home early because I got to get this done, and I got to get this meeting done next, I got to do my dry cleaning later, and all all the noise in our brain. People can tell we're not listening, and I'm sure you have found too, because I've got this feedback. People said to me, James, I feel like you're really actually listening to me. I'm like, of course I am. They're like, no, you're actually listening. I talk to people, and I feel like you're actually present with me. And I say, yes, you're the most important person in the world right now. You're the only thing I'm thinking about right now. And they're like, wow. When I talk to people, I get some level of listening in their awareness, but I think I'm just talking to a nodding head half the time. And you might agree with that. A lot of people give me that feedback, and it's really interesting that people have almost stopped listening, or listening and
And
present listening, you know?
it's rude. Let's call it what it is.
Fair, fair.
It's like it. You need to be authentic and say to the person,
Hmm,
I right now I do not have the ability to focus and to
sure.
have this conversation right now.
I like
And
that.
you're important to me. Is can we schedule where I can actually focus? But to just be nodding and not to be present
Right on.
is rude, and
Yeah,
it's also I find unprofessional. And
true.
so I do not agree with that mode, because I look at the successful organizations and I'm just thinking it starts always at the top in leadership.
Mm,
One just came to mind is Costco. Okay. Our family spends thousands of dollars a year at Costco,
I
but
hear
there's a
that.
reason. Their their people are motivated.
Mhm.
For retail, they're paid well. They get holidays off. It what I'm trying to get at though is that it's like leadership says, we care about you. You are a human being.
Fair.
You have needs, you have family, you have, then all the other programs, because I've had many people that have worked for Costco that are friends that are very happy that one just retired after 40 years.
Well.
And it's unheard of in the retail industry per se. I mean,
Mm.
but my point is that they felt valued, heard, appreciated, and like they listened to their employees saying, we can do this better. This process can be better. We can look at ways, listening, being authentic. Any great organization, for profit or nonprofit, it's all your people and how
Mm.
you can make them be their absolute best.
Right on.
Because then you're going to have, bottom line, you're going to have fantastic. And again, faith, to me, it's kind of a biblical principle just of how you treat others and how you care and
Mm.
how you can motivate, because by serving and then by doing that, you're going to have results. It's a spiritual principle.
Yeah. Yeah. It's reciprocation. You help people, you give your
Mm-hmm.
best. It comes back. You know people, let them know they're cared, they're appreciated, they're valued.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, they're gonna be excited and pumped to work with you and give their best. Versus if you're like, they're nodding head, yeah, okay, hurry up. This is not important. Hurry up, okay. I gotta get
Yeah.
out of my way. I gotta do things. Yeah, it's like what? There's nothing more demotivating than treating someone like a number, or being in like a grindhouse, like a grinder, or grind out the work or something like that, and just knowing that you're not appreciated, your work is not noticed or cared. You're like a replaceable option versus you're special, you're unique. You want to leverage your special your uniqueness. And I think a lot of people are not in the right either job type or job fit. I think as well that causes problems too with their unique abilities. I mean, sure they can, I don't know, stamp cards or whatever, but what their unique ability is, I also feel a lot of people are not doing that, and I think it's everyone's problem, if you will. But I think it's even a lot of leadership's um, ownership and responsibility to say, hey, you know what do you love to do? And let's help you find your unique ability. Maybe it's not, I don't know, making PowerPoint slides. Maybe it's not sales. Maybe it is making PowerPoint slides, or maybe it's responding to RFPs or whatever, coaching new employees, whatever it is, or being an entrepreneur, whatever that thing is. I think that's something also we need to develop our employees. Gallup did a really interesting study, and 86% of employees said that of paramount importance, I believe it was over money, was that they needed and wanted to be developed. They wanted personal development, continued learning, growth, personal development for professional, but also for their own person as well. And it's a great number. I think companies can really retain people, not just with sales training, not just with ethics training, not just with organizational training, but with real training, making them better people, if you will, better at everything, and a personal development, which is going to naturally translate to be. I feel that professional problems are really just personal problems in disguise. We're all people, like as you said, at the end of the day. So 86% of people said that's more important than money. Money important, but that's more important is being able to grow, shift, develop, which makes sense. We're here to grow. Like you said, we all buy stuff we don't need and get promotions. We buy more stuff we don't need and can't take with us when we go. That being said, yes, I like toys. I like having fun. But yeah, it was
It's
fun.
not rocket science, James.
No, exactly.
I mean, it's. I see that because I analyze that data all the time in my
Mm,
job in the employee benefits field,
mm,
and employees want to be seen, heard, valued. Every single one of my clients, their biggest issue is retention and attraction of
yeah,
employees
yeah,
and how they're in this market. And a big part of that is how is this employee going to be valued in the organization and culture? How are they going to grow personally? And again, going back just on my, I guess, face that, but that to me, that's how God designed people.
mm,
Interactional, it's humans and development, and not just robots.
yeah. Agreed.
Everyone's unique individuals, and they have unique needs and personalities, and they want to be seen and heard and valued and loved. And when you tap into that and understand that, and you have your organizational, you can win.
Mm,
And
agreed.
like I said, it just that's the key, is having processes in place to really truly value your people.
Yeah. Yeah. And to know their value, I think it's one of the number one people leave. Like you said, it's not always for, not necessarily for lack of money or more money. It's because maybe it is too, but they're not being valued. Maybe I'll be valued more over here. I respected more, paid more attention to, and more money. Great, I'm out of here, kind of thing. So I think it's a big important thing for companies to realize, and that a lot of people are they don't leave necessarily only for more money, or they're not problem employees for only more money. It's a personal thing. It's the, like you said, being seen, being heard, respected, appreciated. I mean, often recognition, you can give someone a raise and that'll keep them happy for a while. But if you give them recognition, you recognize them frequently for their greatness, I think that is what really motivates and inspires people to keep doing more. If they do great things and then no one sees it or hears it or appreciates it, well, why would they keep doing great things? Why would they
Mhm.
go above and beyond? And companies
Exactly.
are wondering why employees are doing the bare
Yes.
minimum or not even on Facebook all day.
Yeah.
Well, they're not seen, like you said, seen, heard, recognized. Great job. This is amazing. Recognized, Wall of Fame, a little reward or whatever, whatever you however you give them, however you recognize them. I think it's huge, because then they'll do more. If you want, positive reinforcement, it's not rocket
Yeah.
science. Like you said, you want more of something, you positively enforce the good behavior. If you ignore it, don't recognize it, don't appreciate it, what's going to stop?
Exactly. Exactly. And every consultant now that is consulting in with businesses in the field of HR or just retention attraction,
Hmm.
same thing is that is one of the key criticals, is how are employees going to be valued just outside of just organizational goals. How are they going to grow as people?
Hmm.
That's an essential part, because it's a very complicated process now to really come up with the right formula for that attraction and retention, because like you said, money, that's not the only motivating factor
Hmm.
any longer.
True. Yeah, it's purpose, and especially new generations. So I was reading another study:
Yeah.
millennials, Gen Zs, and Gen Z, the new, even some of the older people too. It's they want purpose and fulfillment. They will not, no matter how much it pays, they will not work for a job that they don't find purpose, fulfillment, inspiration, and they're not going to be just a paper stamper or whatever
Yeah.
anymore. That's why I think a lot of companies are finding so much challenge to find employees, find employees,
Yes.
keep employees, and find and keep great employees. The other problem too, I think, for too long, and again, people are no longer willing to put up with this, is, I mean, it's the title of our talk today, is either ineffective or inauthentic leaders, and people just being full of it, not walking the
Yes.
talk,
Yes.
saying one thing, doing another. And even back when I was in the corporate world, nothing would have us lose respect or admiration or cohesiveness or wanting to work with a leader faster than them saying one thing or promising one thing and doing another, or promising not to do something and doing it anyway,
And then
or
doing it
just being
anyway.
totally full of it, and it's interesting. Like you said, just being real. Be real with people. Hey, I'm not perfect. I screw up sometimes. Hey, apologies for this, or apologize. Make it right. Apologize, for things when you screw up. Make it right. Avoid throwing people under the bus. It's, again, not rocket science, but why do you think this still happens? And again, this is not, like I said, it's not rocket science, but it still happens all the time.
I just think human nature. Um, I will say though that I do like the trending I'm seeing
Mm,
of more authentic relationships and authenticity in the workforce. I
mm,
think that is the trend, is toward truly valuing, understanding the human connection, that we've shifted out of that. So
agreed.
I do really, that methodology is becoming archaic, of unauthentic leadership. That's just my opinion.
I agree with it. Yeah. Yeah. It's no faster way to kill your company or kill your business, I think, because
Yeah.
people will leave in droves. They'll stop working with you.
Yeah.
Um, this has been an awesome talk. Any last thoughts for people, on being real, effective leadership, authentic leadership? Eric, things you've seen work, don't work. Any last thoughts for people? We should do another podcast soon too.
I think this could be another, I think somewhat though, is I just want to emphasize the importance of self-care.
Yes.
For you, in my opinion, you cannot take care of others and care for others if you're not caring for yourself. And so, my personal case, I become a huge grizzly bear if I don't get to the gym. I get to the gym whether it's 5 in the morning or late at night, whenever I because that is my where I need to be to get stress relief, to get things done, care for yourself, caring for yourself with eating right and hydrate. Self care, I think, is so important
Mm.
so that you can be your best self because you cannot be authentic if you are not taking care of yourself. You're burning the candle at both ends, or we maybe burn the candle at both ends because we have so much to do. But if you're not doing any self care, you're just going to implode and you're
Yeah.
not going to be able to have an authentic relationship uh, with people if you can't take care of yourself, what's necessary so that you can be your best self.
I would agree completely. I mean, like you said, I become a grizzly bear. I'm grouchy. I'm brain fog. I by far am I not producing my best work if I don't sleep well, if I don't eat well, and it affects me a lot if I don't sleep and eat well. But even mindset and doing something for self care, whether that's a walk or a massage or just chilling, reading a book or something. I agree. I think a lot of people. It's interesting. A lot of people have forgotten that, and I think during and after COVID, because some people have had more time to do things, especially when they were off. Like, wow, I really like playing basketball. I really like reading. I really like doing this. Why did I stop? Why wasn't I doing this? And you're right. The live to work mentality, I think, is really quickly going away, and we're becoming a little more like Europe. It's like life is meant to be lived and have fun, spend time with people or cool things you love versus working in life. Yeah, get your stuff done. Absolutely, get your stuff done and then live as well. So I appreciate this. I appreciate your time, you being on here. I think we
Well,
give a
this has
lot
been
of
great.
value. My pleasure. Yeah, yeah. Great having you. I knew we'd have a great conversation as well. So this has been amazing. And like you said, self-care could be a whole other, we should do that. We should do that someday, a whole other
We should do
podcast.
that sometime. That'd be cool.
Agreed. Agreed. Amazing. Amazing, brother. I'm going to flash up your information here as well, and that people can get a hold of you if they wish as well. Eric Aberg, EMAABERG at gmail.com. Feel free to reach out to him or on LinkedIn as well. Eric Aberg on LinkedIn as well. My new friend. And this has been great. Thank you, brother, for your time. I appreciate it.
Oh, this has been great, James. Thank you. Have a great weekend.